Welcome to the Tech Journeys podcast. I'm your host, Vincent, and on this podcast, I interview people in tech. As always, this show is sponsored by the Consulting Launch Method, where I help experienced tech professionals build their own consulting business without spending years figuring out the business side. We've helped clients go from first idea to first clients in 90 days and six figures within a year. So to learn more, connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message. On today's show, we have Swaraj Verma. Yeah, and he's a product manager at Calnex Solutions, and he leads a group of network and application assurance products as product manager. So, Swaraj, welcome on the
I
show. And I wanted to ask you the question that I always start with, right? And you've been in tech for a while. You're looking back at your career. What has been the decision or project that you are most proud of, and what was it that made it stand out for you?
I think first of all, thank you for invite. I'm great and happy to be here. So I think it's just a great feeling. So I think first thing in terms of what I'm really proud of is the decision to actually take further steps and kind of being more strategic. So I did my MBA in the UK. I think that would be kind of a pivotal move in terms of moving more towards strategy and understanding the overall angle of how things need to be done. There are other things that you on the execution level sometimes don't understand. So I've kind of started from someone being a developer to then where I am currently. So I think that was a pivotal moment in my life where I started to understand strategy in a bit more in-depth level.
And when did you do the MBA? How long ago was it?
I did my MBA 20. I'm a 2021 batch Durham MBA grad. So yeah, so not long, but it still feels long.
And was there anything in particular that you can sort of point to that said, okay, actually, if I hadn't done my MBA or sort of started taking a step back from the business and looking at it more high level, what wouldn't you have noticed or
Yes,
realized?
so I think that's a great question, more because I notice it, and I get that question quite a lot of from aspirants. I do help people with that dilemma of should I stop working and get into MBA or not, right? So for me, what's the big difference was understanding other facets of what I didn't used to do. So when I was in just in tech and just going in my developer way, then business analyst way, I had a view that was coming from my background. But things like marketing or things like finance, how to make sense of a P&L, all right, and how to make sense of revenue sheets and balance sheets and things like that. That was something that MBA gave me. So now I feel comfortable making sense of numbers, and I can make some sense and give some of my inputs in when these discussions happen. So I think that's a key thing that kind of the MBA makes you a bit more well-rounded around several other topics and not just your areas of expertise that you've been living throughout your past career.
Yeah. And are you looking to do further sort of learning or education in that direction um, to try and build out or build
I
on
think
that?
I don't I'm not so certain about kind of joining any university or doing any particular something like a DBA or PhD or things, but I do think learning is a key part of still what I do. So I think
Yeah.
I love joining for courses. I love paying for things like even Coursera and Udemy. You don't know what suddenly can change the way you look at things. So I like learning, and in general, not the school kind of learning. I was never a great student, but but the fact that it just keeps you kind of updated on new things, and I think that's currently the theme. We need to be on top of a game to be relevant into where we are, and that
Yeah.
keeps learning even more important.
Fantastic. And if you were, I mean, how long ago did you start your tech career?
I started. I started my journey with Accenture. I was an analyst there,
Yeah.
so, kind of doing the development aspect and then looking into BA. So I started 2015. So not super long, right? But
Oh,
11
yeah,
years
oh,
now.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
if you look back at your career, right, and or if you had to start your career again tomorrow, knowing what you know now with all the, well, I guess the experience and the sort of the thought process you've been, sort of learning about, through your MBA, but also with all the changes that are happening in the whole tech industry, AI, and all those things, what is the one thing you would do differently?
I think that's again a brilliant question. More because when I was where I was in my life during the early days, I was looking at my next promotion or the next increment in my salary or the next. It wasn't always something that I was chasing, but that was the definition of success, right? Among my peers and other places. So how can you be the next position or the next position? I would look at it in a very different way now in terms of if I really know the basics of what I want to do, if I really know the task that I've been asked to do, and I'm mastering those tasks, I think all those things would come into its place on its own. So rather than chasing all these aspects, I think the craft itself. So I think I would kind of concentrate more on the craft of whatever I'm doing. I think if it was, and I've changed my focus quite, not changed, but I think I've realized my focus shifting towards certain things more over the years. But whatever I was doing at that point of time, I would have maybe concentrated on mastering those aspects of my craft more.
Okay, and you said you over in the recent years you've focused on something more specific. So give me an
I think
example of that.
it's more the strategy. I love the strategy aspect of anything. Why things are done a certain way, why people pivot, and I love the chaos in the market with AI and other things and disruptions happening. While people would not like it, some people wouldn't like it. But I love the fact that there are certain trends that come in that shapes everybody's strategy. All the 3 year strategy that people would have done before Chat GPT was launched to then after what everything had to do. I
Yeah.
think I love those aspects and how people manage things, how people pivot, how people execute, and I love that aspect of strategy.
And is it something you bring into your current role as well?
We try to. I think there are a few things in product management. So product management being is a lot of things at the same time, right? So we try our best to be more strategic, but there are days where like the tasks takes the preference and takes more priority. So
Yeah.
sometimes you're just doing what is needed to do, but I think we try to focus more on strategy. I specifically like an excuse to be more strategic in my job.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that having been a product manager myself for many years, I really enjoy the diversity of the product management role, right? So you but
Yeah,
and you have sort of oversight from development into sales into marketing. You kind of touch lots of different areas of the organization, including operational side of things, right? Um, and that builds a really good foundation in my perspective to kind of lift yourself up because as a more of a senior manager or director over time or some sort of role within the company or on your own, but where you can leverage all that sort of expertise. It's almost like you've tasted a lot of different samples of the business at the same time.
yeah.
And that I find very powerful as a product manager. I think you know, if I had not been in that kind of position, I would not be where I am today, just because it just shapes you as a person, right? So
I'm super glad to know that because that gives me more confidence in how I'm proceeding as well. So it's great to know that. Thank you, Inza.
yeah. So what does the next chapter look like for you? Where are you headed at the moment
I,
in your career, in your business life or corporate, or
I
what are you
think
aiming for?
currently I'm super happy with being at Calnex because the fact is it's a very tight organization with people really like a family kind of environment, but at the same time we're very ambitious. So the ambition doesn't come at the cost of being kind of family oriented, and I think that's the balance that I was always looking for. So I think we've got great leadership, and I think we're heading the right way, chasing the right kind of things, whether it be AI, whether it be data centers, and all these things. We are challenging ourselves to whatever is next happening in the world. So I think it's good. I want to just grow more, hopefully into more positions in terms of taking more leadership aspects
Yeah,
as we go forward. But I think because we're doing so many diverse things and product management just being even itself more diverse, I think I'm seeing a lot of challenges coming in our way, which means good work for me to do and more strategic angles to look at. So I think
yeah.
I'm quite happy with that.
And is it, can you give me an example of some of the
Yes,
um,
so
challenges?
absolutely. So I think so if you look at the speeds that people now test, so we are a testing and measurement company, And so the line of work that I look at is are called emulators. So we just help people bring reality and test whatever the realistic conditions would be in kind of telco networks, data centers, or AI environments. But we try to get them in the lab so that they don't have to do massive, like millions and billion-dollar worth in kind of investments and then see that fail. So, but the problem is because AI is going so fast, we were the first one to launch the 400 gig emulator, and we're talking at like rapid rates. But the moment we launched that, the next is 800, and then there is 1.6T, and we've also heard about people looking at 3.2T, and I think the list goes on and on. But
Yeah.
that that ask has also accelerated rapidly. There was a kind of like 3 to 4 year gap between those asks. Now they're almost at the same time, and I think that's the challenge, where like how do you match the pace of how people are wanting the technology, like that has to go hand in hand. But the tools you have at your hand today might not support delivering it tomorrow. So it's a good challenge, and it's like setting customer expectations and being realistic with them is a big challenge. And while you still want to make money, you still want to sell more things, it's going to be a good challenge to balance all these things
Yeah.
together.
And you mentioned customers there. I mean, in your current role, or do you see yourself sort of very customer facing as well, or what's your
Yes,
thing?
I prefer to be customer facing, and I think that's actually one of those aspects that got me towards product management. So I kind of when I was in Accenture, I started talking to customers, and I was like, oh, that opens like you get to know a different side of a problem. When you're just on the developer angle, you're doing a task and you're trying to do the best you can. But the more you talk to people, you realize it opens such more. So I think that still is core to how I want to function, and I hope that continues more and grows more. So the customer facing aspect, I love that. I love chatting with the customer. The 30-minute call that goes over 30 minutes to a coffee, then a lunch together, and then talk over endless amounts of challenges they have, and then you come with an idea of like, oh, you know what, they also wanted fix for this, and should we do something about it? Can we do a PSE on this? And that product management angle just quickly kicks in, right? So I
Yeah.
still love that. I like being kind of take customer oriented.
Love it. Yeah. And that's, for me, it always is, gives you guys a lot of energy when you talk directly
Absolutely.
to customers. And yeah, that helps you be very focused, right? Or become very focused on what you need to focus or develop your solution or your products into. So
Absolutely.
fantastic. Well, I really appreciate it. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
I think LinkedIn, I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I absolutely love LinkedIn. And I know there are lots of people who are on each sides of whether LinkedIn is what it is before. But I love still the core ethos of LinkedIn of connecting with people. I connected with you on LinkedIn, I think, and I think it brings in great surprises, and you met great personalities and people. So I think great. I think still LinkedIn is something where you can find me.
Fantastic. Now, you clearly have a lot of energy and excitement as we speak here today. So, thank you so much for being on the show, Suraj.
It's my pleasure.
Um,
Thank you.
as a reminder to everyone listening, this show is sponsored by the consulting launch method, where I help experienced tech professionals build their own consulting business in, next to the day job or not, without spending years figuring out the business side, right? We've helped clients going from first idea to first clients in 90 days and six figures within a year. So if you want to learn more, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll put the link in the description. Until the next episode, thank you, Suraj.
Thank you so much. All the best.